guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of the Filmaholic with me and of course the leader, the captain, El Capitan. Like the guy that will take us to battle, Matthew. All right. Today we're going to talk about obviously our continued series of the DC talk, and today the movie will be Wonder Woman. So I don't know, could we possibly be, you have me over exaggerating, maybe. Will you have Matt trying to give like a nice constructive and criticism of it? Maybe. Or you never know. But we're gonna talk about Wonder Woman, and yeah, it's just unfiltered, and this literally is going to just come on straight out our asses here. But I will start off with the discussion here first. Obviously this is like by far like their best movie in the DCU. Well, at the time, you haven't seen Shazam, right, yet?
I have not seen Shazam yet.
All right, so I'll kind of put Shazam up there, and Aquaman, I guess, is just depending on the viewer. But we know how you feel about it. Yeah, just by those eyes. But,
I can't wait to do an Aquaman video.
For the majority of it. Well, for the regular audiences, they will put it right up there. But anyways, I feel like, I don't know, for DC, it's just like, wasn't that goddamn hard? You got it right. Okay, it wasn't perfect. Like, it wasn't like what the Rotten Tomatoes score says. Like, I'll give like an 89 and stuff, but still.
Wonder Woman?
Yeah. Well, for DC, it deserves it earned a score, but that's not the point of it. Basically, but what I'm trying to say is like they got it right. They just made it too damn hard. Like, it's just one of those, like, imagine if they actually took their time. They'll make quality films like that, and they will get better as they progress. But with them, since they had their backs to the wall, they actually made a really good film. The dialogue can still, like, could have used some work on it, but it wasn't cheesy, you know. It was cheesy, but not that cheesy. It was still kind of like, all right, it's a good film. The villains to me were still kind of weak. You know,
yeah, like it's a really good film. I base a lot of stuff off my Letterboxd score. Like, I like to tell what my score is on there. And my score on there is a 4 out of 5, which means really good. But it's not great. It's definitely not a great film, but it's really good. I know some people at the time were like, should Patty Jenkins get a director nomination at the Oscars? Should this movie be nominated for Best Picture? That kind of thing. And that's like ludicrous. Like, that's, yeah. There's no.
I was kidding.
I hope that the 1984 is better. I don't think it's going to be, but I hope it is. But most of this film is really good. The tone that Patty Jenkins sets with this film is fantastic. I love the tone. And this world has already been created, right? That Wonder Woman takes place in, with Man of Steel, and then again with Batman versus Superman. And this film continues that, but goes back in time to the First World War, but also makes it its own. So it doesn't feel so completely different that you don't think it's part of that universe. Those other films, as well as Suicide Squad, I forgot about that one, take place in, with this dark tone that they have. Wonder Woman has that too, but it is lighter and is a little more lighthearted, just a little, even though you're in the World War and all that. But it just makes it better while still feeling like it is part of that same universe, which Patty Jenkins did a great job with that. Gal Gadot, is Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot?
Gal Gadot. It honestly just depends. It doesn't matter. Just Gal Gadot. I'll just say Gal Gadot. That's what I used to say.
Gal Gadot is fantastic as Diana, Wonder Woman. She was someone who I was cautious when we went into Batman versus Superman if she was the right choice to play Wonder Woman, because I know there was other actresses that had a little bit more experience as far as acting and whatnot goes that I thought probably would have been better choices.
Who were those actresses? Just to be curious.
There was several. I know Jamie Alexander, who was in Thor. as Lady Sif. I know that was a top choice at the time. There was one. Her name was Olga. Can't remember her last name, but she was in Quantum of Solace, the James Bond film. I know she was up there. I want to say the lady who ended up playing Elektra in Daredevil season 2 was up there. I think those were some of the finalists that were that made it into like the top 3 or 4 or whatever for what Zack Snyder was going for. But I know there was a lot of other people mentioned, earlier on back in the day of like who could play Wonder Woman, like Emily Blunt, just other actresses. But I like who they ended up going with overall. I think she fit, and I think she really just embodies Wonder Woman in this film, and the power that she has, but also the humanity. I think she does a really good job with it, and I think Patty Jenkins does a really good job taking us through this film.
Yeah.
But you also have to, talk about the other little, the other supporting characters and actors and stuff in the film too. Chris Pine is a huge part of this film, and he does a phenomenal job as Steve Trevor, the love interest in this film. So good that they decided to bring him back again in 1984, which I still, as of right now, I'm saying that's a mistake because we do know he sacrifices himself at the end of this film, it was a good scene, and he dies. So, like, the fact that they want to bring him back is a little disappointing to me. There's a lot of stuff earlier on that we could talk about too. There's like the No Man's Land scene with her, where she like walks out. The score is phenomenal in this, which was started in BBS when she's introduced, but is carried through with this film. It delivers. The cinematography I enjoy. Some of the other cast, Robin Wright, different people in there, were pretty good. But talk about the problems that I think the film has. You touched about it. The villains, they could have been done better. Are they the worst villains? No. I mean, there's no Suicide Squad villain or Justice League villain, but they're weak. You have Dr. Poison, who, other than looking like Dr. Poison and being there, doesn't do much of anything. You got Danny Houston in there, who I guess I was a little thrown off because I didn't really see him as Ares, but that's who they were trying to make us think was Ares, I think, at first, and they switch over, and it turns out to be David Thewlis, from Harry Potter and a lot of other stuff too, but he plays Professor Lupin in Harry Potter. He ends up being Ares, which was a weird casting decision, I think. There was a lot of other people I know, like, I would have went with somebody like Sean Bean for Ares, but I think, like, he was underused too as one of her, like, arch enemies. I feel like you should have built Ares up more. Maybe not even had him in this film, just like had other villains and built him up for like a sequel villain. But I don't know. And that the whole third act fight between her and Ares was not very good. And I think that third act in general brings the film down a half star. I think it could be a 4.5, an excellent film, if it wasn't for that weak third act.
Yeah. Well, I still enjoyed the third act, but it did bring that movie down to what you said. But for me, I like a star. But yeah, I can see where you're going from. With Steve Trevor, I don't know. I feel really mixed about them. Like, just bring them back, but I don't know. Like, if they can bring it back,
it could
yeah.
work.
Like, I mean, it's all about like the writers and stuff. They can find like a good escape. It could work because like it felt like when he died, it felt like a reward. Not necessarily like a reward, but it was like okay, all right, we understand why he had to do it, and that was our reward as an audience. But now with him coming back, it kind of feels like, all right, he's taking our reward back. All right, have you? Okay, all right, all those tears for nothing. But yeah, Gal Gadot, same thing. I was just like I was like, wait, this chick from Fast and Furious, she was barely had any screen time.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of. I think that's the main thing people have
But
seen her in beforehand.
I mean, but you know what? She did a good job for it. You know, she made it her own, but still had that Wonder Woman to it. So yeah, you know.
I think it's a good example of why you shouldn't like get bent out of shape when somebody's cast that you don't necessarily agree with. It's something I need to like think about when I'm certain films. Is like, you know, I hear a casting, I'm like, oh my god, that's terrible. But you know, just take a minute, think about what could be, hope for the best. And if the film comes out and you still don't like it, then you still don't like it. But if it's good,
Yeah,
pleasant surprise.
just kind of goes like sometimes you just got to take a risk on someone, even if they were like in horrible films in the past or mediocre. You know, like Chris Evans, like Disney, they believed him on him. Well, not Disney, but Paramount at the time believed in him a lot, and they just took a chance on him.
Yeah, I mean, I was disappointed when Chris Evans was cast as Captain America. I remember that. I wanted somebody like Brad Pitt in there, but you know, I guess he was too old. But at the time,
I mean, I was happy because I don't know, I just saw something in the guy when I started watching his movies. I was like, this guy looks like he can be good someday. So, but yeah, like same thing with Daniel Craig when we got casted for James Bond. People were like, "The fuck?"
Or Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Like sometimes those guys turn out to be pretty good, or
Ben Affleck as Batman, which I think is funny too, because people like were freaking out when Ben Affleck got cast as Batman. But then the other day when the test footage of the new Batman came out and Pattinson was in the suit and everything, people were so defending Ben Affleck and like shit talking Pattinson now, and it's like, come on, guys.
I mean, this is just kind of one of those terms. Like I feel like movie studios should still like franchises like Marvel should still listen to their fans, but not a lot because at the same time fans don't know what they really want. Like they're just so stuck with the nostalgia. Like once that movie comes out and then like 10 years later they recast that thing again, they're gonna be like, oh shit, like I want that old dude to come back. So just kind of like understandably so, but you just got to give that person a chance. And you know, anyway, with Robert Pattinson, let's see what he does with his version of Batman. But anyways, back to Wonder Woman. But yeah, this movie is actually enjoyable. I'll probably see it again after this. But I might probably collect the action figure soon. So I'll show the collection, by the way.
And they did a good job. And I know it's like a period piece film, but they did a good job. Like, and I've kind of said this before with the tone and everything, but it was its own film within a larger universe, and they did a great job with that because they didn't feel the need to try to connect it to everything else. It has a bookend to the film with her getting something from Bruce Wayne, but other than that, it's not connected to the larger universe, which is in the past, which explains it. But they did a really good job of that, I think, making it truly a Wonder Woman film and not anything else, which is what they've had problems with that with other characters. You know, like you had an Aquaman film that was truly an Aquaman film, I guess, even though it's shit. And then you had a Man of Steel film that felt rushed, but it was truly a Superman film.
And you haven't seen Shazam, right?
I have not seen Shazam.
All right, real quick. Just by the trailer, you can tell like, for me, it was still a good film, but like all that stuff they were talking about, like Superman and Wonder Woman, it felt necessary because it was a kid that's a fan of those guys. So it's just like it felt necessary for that, but for the others, you just kind of like you don't necessarily have to be like,
Yeah. I don't know. It's like with Batman versus Superman. You know, never really got a Ben Affleck standalone Batman film, which is I think we should have.
There was even like test footage and stuff and everything, right?
Of certain things like you're talking about Deathstroke and stuff, which I think actually might have been from like Justice League, but yeah, like imagine if we had got that Ben Affleck standalone Batman film based before Man of Steel and showed like the death of Jason Todd, the hands of Jared Leto's Joker. I'm getting into a whole separate thing here. This is a Wonder Woman video. Um, definitely, I think it's really good. I think the only things that really could have made this film better was the third act. The third act should have been better, which I think goes back to the writing. The writing could have been stronger. Maybe another rewrite. I think they could have elevated this film a lot more. So yeah, third act writing and make the villains a little bit stronger. I would have recast the villains personally. I think they could have been better. But everything else, I really dug. Like I really think everything else was the best that it could be.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm right there with you. I can still say like probably the dialogue still bothers me a lot, but not to like Aquaman degree. But but the dialogue's still solid too. Like you can still make a pretty good movie out of it. You just gotta hope for the performers too.
What dialogue are you talking about?
I don't know. Like, was it the one when she's talking about like love and all that? Like, I can see where she's going for it, but like, I don't know. It's just probably
I don't know. I actually liked it.
It felt. I mean, yeah, but it still felt cringy though.
I haven't seen it in a little bit, so maybe I'm gonna rewatch it this year before 1984 comes out. That's why I didn't watch it before we did this video, because I want to wait until closer at that time.
Yeah.
But from what I remember, I don't remember having really any problems with the dialogue. I remember liking it, but yeah, like when you get to later films or some of the other DC films, the dialogue is just like when we get to Aquaman. Yeah, like I cannot believe someone got paid money to write that screenplay. Like, we're gonna dive into that one.
Scuba gear and everything.
But yeah, Wonder Woman.
Yeah. If Aquaman hosts that freaking trident up our throats, I'm gonna be like, hey man, he's the one who's talking shit the most, not me.
Yeah, I will, because that movie sucks. But yeah, Wonder Woman is definitely the best film, and I haven't seen Shazam yet. I will watch it before we do the video on it, of course.
When we get to it.
But we have several videos. We got Justice League, which is coming up next. We're going to be going heavy into that one too, because it's also really bad.
Heavy. Me smoking cigarettes and drinking beer. You know, if I drink beer,
you're going to get that pack of cigars. Yeah, we're going heavy into that one and Aquaman, and then we'll have Shazam following that. And after we get done with Shazam, I think we'll go into doing just a DC overall state of DC video, kind of like we did with Star Wars. If you check that out, if you haven't, go check it out. But we'll be doing that and I recorded today a video for my Birds of Prey review, so you guys can check that out as well. But on the overall state of DC, we can also talk about Birds of Prey and what your thoughts on it. Have you seen Birds of Prey yet?
I'm gonna hit on it Saturday.
Okay. So after you see that, we can talk about it. And then
like right after probably after we're done with our special for the people.
Right. Let's plug that as well while we're here. We do have another award show coming for you guys. Are you sick of award shows yet? Well, here's another one for you. We're doing a Filmaholic Awards. We recently did the first ever annual Filmaholic Awards. So you haven't seen that yet, check it out. It's for 2019 films. It's our version of the Oscars. But now we are doing a special edition Filmaholic Decade Awards. So it's awards for 2010 through 2019. We're going to have nominees. We're going to have winners. It's going to be the same sort of categories: actor, actresses, director, best picture, cast ensemble, all of those. But our nominees are going to consist of performances and directors and films throughout the entire decade. People can be nominated twice. They can be nominated whatever times. It's based on the individual film performance, what have you. So check those out, guys. And DeBell, do you have any more thoughts about Wonder Woman before we wrap this up?
Overall, you will say solid film by far, if not the greatest one they have right now.
Yeah.
Don't rush it, because this is what you get when you if you don't rush, you actually have a pretty good film.
Right. It's pretty good. Could have been better. I do think so. I also think this, personally, should have been the first film in the DC universe, probably, instead of Superman.
We probably could have had Superman, Man of Steel 3 by now.
And this film also, like, I know we're talking about the overall DC stuff later. This film definitely should have came out before Batman versus Superman.
Yes.
Because, and this is like even for like the WB or Warner Brothers and everything. If this film had came out first and it was a critical success, it was financial success. If this film had came out, more people would also want to see Batman versus Superman because she was in it. It would have benefited them.
Yeah.
So that was their, well, another mistake that they had. But yeah, so that's our Wonder Woman video for you guys. We will have Justice League coming out next, and we will see you then.